Rochelle McDermott. I'll be replacing Holly and Philip, who've had a fab night at the NTAs. Joining us today to talk about the controversial issue of teacher workload is Miss McConnell, an ex-primary school teacher, Nikki Morgan, the ex-Secretary of State for Education, and Miss Smythe, the committee member for Education. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Miss McConnell, in 2016 it was discovered that 43% of teachers were leaving the profession, and that's due to increase within the next 5 years. You being a teacher that's left the profession, can you tell me why? Was it the unmanageable workload or?
It just, at the end it turned unbearable. I had absolutely no time for myself. I'm trying to raise a family, I'm trying to have a husband, I'm trying to do everything, and something had to go in itself happy for myself and my family.
Can we talk about what was unbearable, your words there? Was it the working the longer hours, or was it the actual work you had to do, or was it just not the you or the job? Or?
Don't get me wrong, I loved my job. Working with children, it was honestly the best profession I've ever been in. However, it was just the fact that people don't see the big picture. It's the marking, it's the assessing, it's the planning, the 4 different types of lesson plans for one 60-minute lesson, just because different people need to see different versions of this lesson plan, planning for different children. The whole aspect, I loved being in the classroom. It was just outside the hours, it was unbearable for me.
I think as a whole, like from the general public, I don't understand like the planning. I would assume that you just got given the resources that you've used in the classroom, the plan, and you have to follow the plan as it is. Is that not true? You say me on this?
No. So, for example, if I made a maths lesson and I wanted to use like 3D shapes but have them pre-made, I would have to find the resource, and if there wasn't resources available, I might have to make them using nets. Might have to do something, so it's not just the planning, it's also the preparation. There's a lot that goes into a lesson.
So is there anything in place that would help you out with this? Just was it any help from your head teachers or?
I went to my head teacher and they had the idea that I wasn't any different. Every teacher was there till at least 5 o'clock at night. Most teachers went home early. Well, not early, but some teachers did go home at 5 o'clock. I know that isn't early, but that's earlier than me. But my teacher just saw that, my head teacher, just saw that as that's the same for everybody else, so that's fine.
Well, thank you. I'm going to bear that in mind because in a survey done by the Guardian of Education said that 4,000 teachers said their workloads unmanageable. Similar to what you were saying, 3/4 of them work at least 65 hours a week, and that the same amount say the workload is affecting their mental health, similar to what Ms. McConnell just said here as well, and that half want to leave in the next 5 years. We wanted to find out what measures have been put in place to decrease the hours of the workload. Nikki Morgan, the previous Secretary of State for Education, who has recently been replaced by Justine Greenan in Theresa May's cabinet shuffle. During her time serving as the Secretary, she initiated various breakthroughs to reduce the pressure for teachers. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me. A lot of teachers felt what Ms McConnell here did feel.
Do you agree with Ms Mcconnell here? Do you think it's?
I think there have been precautions taken and things to change it, and that might not work for everybody. But I did create this survey. And
I completely disagree with you there, because at the workload charter we have found that people have found it unmanageable, just like Ms McConnell. So personally, I don't feel that your survey has made any improvements.
Well, I did propose that in my time as the Secretary of State for Education, I did propose the workload challenge. We did the survey in October 2014, and it did highlight the main points from teachers on the ground within schools, what they felt was the most pressure.
So Ms Nice just highlighted what Esme was worrying about over here. What 3 areas would you say you were?
So when I carried out my survey, it was to find out from teachers on the ground what the 3 areas were that were difficult for them with the workload, and we found it came back to us that it was marking, planning and data management. Okay. So we put into place reviews that we could review and make everything better for people. So like, for instance, things that I did was, like Ms Connell here, that school till 7 o'clock, don't look at your emails after 5. Forget about it. Close the book. Forget about it.
It's not that easy, because if I have an email come through at 5:30 off my head teacher to say that, for instance, Ofsted are coming in at school tomorrow, she's just got the call, and I don't plan for Ofsted, I am not prepared, and I turn up to school, my head teacher would then be disappointed in me because I simply let it go and didn't open my email.
I do understand that, but for a lot of people saying, a lot of teachers saying that they need the weekends and they feel like they're working too much, I feel like if you can close the book and separate your working life from your personal life, it creates a much happier state of mind, and then it's less so with health issues, what we do.
In the prior research, it was found that 44,000 teachers actually responded to your survey, and not all of it was positive reviews for it. Could you say how it actually was successful?
It was successful because obviously we got opinions from not only the government, and it was important not to just listen to what the government was saying. We needed to hear what teachers on the ground were saying, and it did do that effectively, because those 3 areas of marking, planning, data management came from what we were listening to of the actual teachers on the ground.
I feel like the teachers like Esme, who has left the profession, do you think there's any way to stop more and more teachers? Because it was saying that teachers, the schools are finding it hard to retain and actually hire good quality teachers.
Yeah, I do understand. I do think it is a really difficult subject because there is a lot of pressure with the ever-changing curriculums and all the government changes. But I do feel like if I could have made my position, I could have made a more effective outcome. But unfortunately, that's now been taken out of my hands.
I think it's all well and good you saying that you've done a survey to find that the least manageable areas are marketing, planning and data management, but nothing's been done about that.
So we did actually make
all
the
well and
review
good saying, yes, we found this out, but there's nothing.
So we did actually make the review groups, and we developed principles for good data management and how to reduce workload. So we did like types of marking, and because tackling workload requires much more change from government, and it requires it from you. So we sat down and reviewed with all different like lines of people, and really got into what it was that we needed to tackle it.
But
to tackle the issues.
As Mr. McConnell just said, it's very well good to say this is the problem, but it's lack of government funding.
It is
to
lack
tackle
of
the
government.
problem.
Teachers are still leaving the profession.
Yeah,
They are, and I do
It's a
feel
problem.
like the time wasn't given for us to make an impact. As I said, it's now been taken
I
off my
personally
hands.
I think I understand what you're saying about teachers taking charge of their own development, but as Ms. Meah said and Ms. McConnell, it needs to be more, if we're going
it's
to do
very
this, we're going to do
controversial.
this, it needs to actually happen. And similar to your programme, Ms. Meah has a committee member set up the Fair Workload Charter. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
So, at the Fair Workload Charter, based in Nottingham, we are trying to combat the reduction in teachers. So our teachers are leaving the profession due to stress, due to too much workload, and are just seeing other places to take their career further. So we have found that teachers are spending far too much time on their marking, their planning and their assessment, all because teachers need to impress Ofsted.
Some of our viewers have argued that this is what teachers should expect when entering the profession. They shouldn't expect they work 9 till 3. I know you said 9 till 5 or whatever, but it's what they should expect. They shouldn't expect to be on holiday 9 till 3. Do you?
I think people don't have the numbers in their head. They think the teacher just walks in, teaches the class and leaves.
Even your figures for your charter says that you're trying to reduce the amount of assessment that the teachers have to do, change it into some assessments instead of formative.
Yeah, so we are trying to be more observations, more verbal feedback to pupils, because we have found that written feedback doesn't really have positive impact on the pupils, and we are proposing just 3 summative assessments per year, which would abide by Ofsted's rules.
But for Ofsted, because I know that Ofsted inspects schools quite regularly and is always aiming to get outstandings. Is
Yeah.
that be good enough? Or?
All of our schools that have taken up this charter in Nottingham have received good or better teaching than what they did previously, so it has been proven that this has worked.
I mean, aim is to recruit and retain good quality teachers. Would you say that has happened
Yeah.
in the setup?
Yeah, definitely. With our charter, you are part of the Fair Workload Charter table, and you have got opportunities for promotion, you get bonuses for good work, and it does give TAs opportunities to get QTS status and become a teacher.
This sounds very similar to Lily Morgan's previous work. It sounds like you have more of the ground running instead of just being talk
Yeah.
on what you've said.
We weren't given. It's a massive thing to do it nationally over the whole country, and the changes in the workload to enforce changes in the workload you need the back from the government and the funding. It does take a lot of time, and we were collating the evidence to do it.
Okay, thank you all for joining me today. I hope there is hope for our teachers in the future. Coming up after the break, we have Ryan with your latest showbiz news.